Have you ever wondered what Canada's Arctic is like? If so, this episode is for you. Last fall we did something incredible. We were one of the very first people to drive the new Inuvik-to-Tuktoyaktuk highway in Canada's Northwest Territories. This is Canada's first all-season road to reach the Arctic Ocean. And even though it wasn't open when we were there, we got a special permission as part of Canada's Road to 150 series.
Once accessible only by air, water, or a winter ice road, Tuktoyaktuk is about as isolated as it gets in Canada, and it takes a true adventure to make it there, especially if you go by road, which is what we did. We went all the way to the Yukon, up the Dempster Highway, and then we were escorted by a construction crew on the new highway up to Tuktoyaktuk.
This is a fascinating area and it's so different from the rest of Canada. First of all, it's above the tree line and it's quite flat. And it's very visible to see that tree line where there's trees and no trees. So there's no trees up there, but there's plenty of pingos, and some of them are protected as a Pingo National Landmark. And what are pingos? Tell us, Matt. It's a funny name.
Other than being an awesome word, they are a mound of earth-covered ice found only in the Arctic and subarctic regions, and they can reach as high as 70 meters tall and up to 600 meters in diameter. We even got to climb one there for amazing views of Tuktoyaktuk and the surrounding area.
It looks like a pimple on the earth. Pretty much. Nicer.
So getting to Tuktoyaktuk was a lot easier than the Dempster Highway, but unfortunately due to the weather, it was rainy, there was lots of potholes, the construction crew didn't want us to ruin their road, so they wanted us to come back in the same day. So we only had a half day to explore Tuktoyaktuk, but we made the most of it.
Yes, and it was totally worth it. So we climbed the Pingo, as Matthew mentioned, and also a local took us to his house. So we got to try traditional food, wear some traditional clothing, and of course dip our toes in the Arctic Ocean. It was super cold.
And I actually jumped in the Arctic Ocean because I had this mission on our Road to 150 trip to jump completely into all three oceans that neighbor Canada, and surprisingly the Arctic Ocean was warmer than the Atlantic, but then again we jumped there in May, so
quite a different time. Yeah. But anyway, I guess if you are up there, you really gotta dip your toes, at least.
Traditional food up here is made up of wild game such as caribou and beluga whale, and we actually got to try some muktuk, which is basically the skin and blubber of beluga whales and usually eaten raw. And it was rubbery, but I kind of liked it.
No, not for me. And it felt kind of weird after having a wonderful time with them snorkeling in Churchill. So, but anyway, that's the way life is up there, and it has been for centuries.
It was also a cool experience to try on some of the traditional clothing. I'm not sure what exactly ours was made of, but traditionally they're made out of caribou hides and then trimmed with a kind of a ruff of like wolf or wolverine fur.
Ours was actually made of wolverine. You could even see the claws in the front.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. They're very warm, and which you definitely would want up here for the cold winter months because it can get as low as minus 70 with the wind chill, so you definitely want something to keep you warm.
Another cool feature about this place is that there's no chain of restaurants or hotels, so there's only locals that own guest houses and accommodate you, or locals that take you around for a tour, and that's what we did. So it was a shame that we didn't have more time to spend in Tuktoyaktuk, but that gave us an excuse to come back one day. Tuk, like the local says, is truly a very cold place. So if you're up to live a very cool northern adventure, I highly recommend adding both Tuktoyaktuk and Inuvik to your Canadian bucket list.
Pretty much the most challenging part about driving up to Tuk is the Dempster Highway, a 737-kilometer dirt road in the middle of nowhere. It's an amazing drive though, and we're going to be talking about that in our next video. So if you love Canada, you want to come to Canada and learn more about Canada, and you like this channel, hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, leave us a comment, and we'll see you in the next video.